If you're self-employed, there's a new way to do tax returns that means reporting to HMRC 5 times a year instead of just that one single tax return. And the kicker here is there's no free HMRC tool to do it. It's coming for many of you in April, so let me explain what you need to be doing now to prepare. So the new scheme from HMRC is called Making Tax Digital for Income Tax, and it comes into play in April 2026. So your action plan for now is firstly, figure out if and when you're going to fall under these new rules. The rollout itself is actually staggered over a few years, depending on the level of your sales, but in short, HMRC will take the data from your latest tax return, and if you meet the criteria, you're in from the following April. And I've done other videos talking about this, so you can check those out for the detail. And then the second thing that you need to be doing right now is thinking about how you're going to keep your records. So as part of the scheme, you're going to have to keep digital records in some sort of software, or use something known as bridging software to pull the data from your spreadsheet and transmit it to HMRC each quarter. So a big thing to do now is be investigating what you might actually use. Now, if you don't know where to start, HMRC actually have a website for this, and I'll certainly have some recommendations in future videos for you. And I think for many of you, if you're not used to keeping records digitally, learning something new is always going to be hassle. There's always going to be time. So doing this now before we get too close to the deadline is going to be big, particularly if you're going to need to find some support with this. And then thirdly, under the new system, you're going to need to submit quarterly income and expense returns to HMRC each quarter. So figuring out when those new reporting deadlines are and getting used to them is going to be really important. In fact, now I'd start putting it in your diary ready. If you're one of these people that uses an electronic diary, maybe you want a reoccurring appointment that pops up in good time to remind you. Because with all things HMRC, although they're going to take a light touch approach, there will be penalties for not submitting it. And I've been chatting to a lot of our clients about this, and I find that the biggest thing for most people is going to be this new thing you have to do. For many sole traders, actually, it's a kind of once a year thing. They just think, I need to get my tax records ready and get them to the accountant, or if they were doing it themselves, they need to start thinking about doing that tax return. And now you've got to have not only the mindset shift to say, look, I've got to do this thing more than once a year, you've also just got to physically have it in a diary and have the space to do it. And then you're still going to have to do a final digital end of year submission, very much like your tax return you do now, by January each year. So whether you've already got an accountant or you normally do your tax return yourself on the free tool, you're going to have to do it in the new tools. So start thinking about it now and either talk to your accountant about it, look for somebody to support you, or just start investigating what you might need to do. So in summary, understand if you're affected and when, and get that software in place. So please do share this with anybody you think needs to know this info, and I'll see you on the next one.